Hi there, my name's Paul Burrows. May is Stroke Awareness Month, so I wanted to share my story. I'm 43 years old. I live in Peterborough with my wife Lynn and my two daughters Amy and Molly. Amy's 12, Molly is 10. I also have Crohn's, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. I've had that since 2001, and obviously it's now the coronavirus, so I'm self-isolating because of my heightened risk because of my suppressed immune system. Anyway, so Stroke Awareness Month. Yeah, I'll give my story in a moment, but I think it's really important actually that within all the focus on coronavirus, that people are also aware about other conditions, because let's face it, if someone has a stroke now and needs to go to hospital, then there's going to be challenges on there. So time counts as well. So yeah, my stroke story. So November the 5th, 2019, I woke up groggy about 6 a.m. and went to turn my alarm off and fell out of bed. And I was paralysed down my right-hand side. I could hardly speak. It felt like I was sort of having an out-of-body experience. I thought I was speaking, but nothing was coming out. Thankfully, my wife realised what was going on and called the ambulance immediately. So 20 minutes later, the ambulance turned up and took me to Peterborough A&E, where I had a couple of scans, and they triaged me really well actually, and got on the phone to Addenbrooke's, which is in Cambridge, which is has a specialist stroke unit as well. So the A&E consultant spoke to the stroke consultant at Addenbrooke's, and I got blue lighted there. It was very strange because I couldn't move my right hand side at all. Managed to get into the ambulance, and when I was in A&E, had a bit of a hug, a bit of a moment with Lynn, and actually I could then started to move. So the clot that was on my brain, the left side of my brain, must have moved. So I was blue lighted to Addenbrooke's, had another CT scan when I got there, and then they fast tracked me for a thrombectomy procedure. I was too late because they didn't know at what point my stroke started, because it could have been in the middle of the night. So they didn't give me the blood thinners, IV blood thinners. So this thrombectomy procedure was my really only option. I got readied for that. I had a local anaesthetic, and then they went in through my groin, up through my heart, and basically grabbed the clot out of my brain. Immediately afterwards, it was really scary because I was trying to answer very basic questions and just not being able to process anything. My speech was all over the place. My vision was bad, and I had a cracking headache after this procedure because it was pretty painful actually when they went in to grab the clot. But really thankful to the staff at Addenbrooke's. I was on the ward, got back to the wards, the stroke ward, and actually was out the next day because physically I was fine. I could walk around, and I was pretty strong. But I had aphasia, which is effectively cognition and speech challenges. My ability to write and speak was all over the shop. But anyway, I went home and the next day, and went straight to bed. And then, sort of over the course of that first week, I was making some fantastic progress. I felt really good actually at some points. Felt pretty normal. It felt like I'd been cleansed, which was quite bizarre. My speech was improving day by day. But then about a week, 10 days after my stroke, something must have triggered it. I think I was listening to some program about motor neurone disease or something like that, and that night I just couldn't sleep. I was fearful that I was going to die, that I wouldn't wake up. So effectively, from that point, anxiety hit me like a truck the next day. Managed to get slight control over the anxiety through, speaking to the charity support line from the Stroke Association, looking on online forums just to sense check that what I was feeling wasn't out of the normal, if you like, post-stroke. I managed to work my way out of it, but then anxiety's been my main challenge since, alongside neurofatigue, with my left side of my I've got brain damage basically, and the right side's trying to take over and trying to work out what I can and can't do. Really, really exhausting. It's unlike anything I've ever felt before. It sort of comes on pretty quickly. So anyway, started to manage the anxiety, saw my stroke consultant just after Christmas, and he gave me some really reassuring news about my future prognosis, which has chilled out the anxiety no end actually. So they don't know what caused it. I haven't got the normal risk factors around smoking, drinking too much. My diet's pretty good, I'm healthy, I exercise fairly well. My blood pressure's all right, my cholesterol's fine. So a bit of a mystery really. I've had some diagnostic tests. Bloods are absolutely fine. I've got some heart tests to go. Structurally, my heart's fine, which can be a cause of a clot basically. And it might be a regular heartbeat, so I might have to have something there. But obviously, I'm on pills for life now in terms of blood thinners and statins and stuff like that. But anyway, my back to my recovery, started to phase back to work. So I work for the Environment Agency. I'm a flood and coastal risk manager based in East Anglia. So I sort of lead a department of about 30 people, delivering some great work with communities as well. My communication's really, really important within my job, and that was one of my main nerves after suffering the stroke, was whether I could actually do my job again, whether I could be as good as I thought as I wanted to be. Will people notice a difference and stuff like that? So that's one of my main concerns, alongside how do I manage the fatigue and the anxiety in a work situation, which can be quite stressful and challenging. So I started back to work, phased return, slowly building myself up to about 4 days a week. Back in sort of February time, I got up to about 4 days a week, and then I found out that I was really managing what I was doing. So really being diligent with my diary, not travelling, being very sort of I guess bullish about what I didn't do. I couldn't stomach long meetings, so I needed to mix up my day. Lots of conversations with people and stuff like that, and actually started to feel really confident that I could get back to somewhere where I used to be, and maybe even better really, because I've gone through an experience which I can hopefully helps me be a better leader in the future. So then building myself back, getting my confidence back, and then obviously coronavirus hits, and now so I'd already felt that I'd lost a few months of my life, and had that feeling of isolation. I've had major bowel surgery 3 times in the past, so I kind of know what it feels like to be locked away at home, unable to do much. But that's because of illness and symptoms and recovery, not being locked away when actually I'm really thirsty to start to enjoy my life again. So that's a big challenge for us at the moment. But I'm starting to adjust. I think the anxiety around coronavirus though has not helped in terms of the residual anxiety that I'm feeling, and managing the health anxiety that I have around my Crohn's disease and around stroke and now coronavirus, but especially being particularly vulnerable to that as well. So that's what I'm managing at the moment, but trying to keep myself busy whilst locked away at home, trying to spend some quality time with my wife and my girls, and I can work from home. Really thankful that I work for a fantastic organisation in the Environment Agency. Very, very strong leadership, and has empowered me really to take it easy. So it was really quite difficult over the winter with lots of flooding going on around the country, and me being feeling pretty useless, and it's a bit of a passenger in that, and on the periphery. And now actually in terms of the coronavirus, we're working so hard with local resilience for up and down the country, but I'm not quite ready for full active incident response mode. I haven't got the energy to sustain that, so really trying to manage myself there and focus on what I can do within a challenging situation. But anyway, just back to stroke awareness. Really, really important, as I said, that people are aware of stroke. There's lots of information online, but the key things, I think I was weirdly quite lucky that my stroke was pretty acute. It was pretty obvious that it was a stroke, so I didn't hearing and reading other people's stories, more subtle symptoms, so they get missed, and then that actually can cause more challenges because you don't get your treatment and whatever quick enough. So, key signs to look out for are that sort of numbness or paralysis, as I felt in, down one side, the slurring of speech, even if it's quite subtle, so a bit like you were, very drunk, but you're not, and lack of sort of orientation, cognition, and a bit of dizziness and stuff like that. So they're the signs to look out for, and then escalate that. Better safe than sorry. But people can recover. I was hugely lucky. It's only since that I've researched the thrombectomy procedure. It's only been in the NHS since 2017, and only 1,200 people get it, have it around the country. There's only about 24, I think, stroke centres that deliver that service. Only one's 24 hours. So I had absolutely the fate of the NHS looking over me on the 5th and 6th of November. I was very, very fortunate, which is why I feel I would like to give back and hopefully share my story in the hope that it lands well with people, and you do the right thing by yourself or by others if a stroke sadly hits you. It's not an issue that just affects the elderly. I think 2/3 of strokes affect people over 60, but the rest can be relatively young. I'm not sure I always feel young, but apparently I am at 43. But it's a tough journey. It's been a real learning curve added to my challenges around disability anyway, but really tested my resilience. But I'm with the love and support of my family, and colleagues at work have been brilliant. I will no doubt conquer it and be a better person. Good luck. Stroke Awareness Month, May.